What's going on, you guys? Come on in, make yourselves at home. We're about to start another episode of Jimmy Rants. So if you're new to Jimmy Rants, I try to do these definitely once a day, sometimes twice a day. So this is the second one I'm doing today, but it's a show that I do on Instagram Live. We also simulcast it on both of my Facebook pages. So thank you for being here to my Facebook followers. And of course, thank you as always to my Instagrammers. You guys have been with me on this show since the very start. Created it October 2 years ago. So I've been doing this about a year and a half now. And what we do is we just take topics, and sometimes I get headlines like I have here today. Sometimes it's just topics of interest to me, and we do a little rant about it. Now, sometimes I'm in full-on rant mode, but sometimes not so much. But we call the show Jimmy Rants. So if you're interested and you like what you see here today, be sure to hop on over to jimmyrants.com. You can see the past episodes. You can also see all of them on YouTube. Somebody just emailed today and it was like, I don't see them on YouTube. So go find youtube.com/livinlowcarbman, LIVINLOWCARBMAN, and you will find the videos there. We have them featured at the top of my page. Also, those of you on Facebook or anywhere else that you're watching this, if you want to follow me and interact with the show live, go follow me on Instagram. I'm also at livinlowcarbman there so that you can connect and interact and have a good time on this show. You guys have a good time? I try to make it entertaining along with educational. So many people have done the keto diet in the past few years. A lot of people talk about how they had great success at losing weight, changing their health, and everything that was bad before became good now. But what happens when your story isn't a weight loss story? What if you lost a little bit of weight, but then you started struggling and you didn't know why? We're going to explore a little bit of that here today. I have a news story out of Medical Daily, and the headline reads, "Not losing weight despite doing keto, and here's why." So sometimes when I read these articles in the mainstream and they're talking about something like keto, they usually get it all wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the spoiler alert. They did a good job. I don't think by any means it is a comprehensive list of all the reasons why you're not losing weight despite doing keto, but I think it's a good start, and we'll definitely look at all of these. I might even throw out a few more of my own, and then I'll solicit from you guys what you think other thoughts are as to why you're not losing weight despite eating a ketogenic diet. So you guys ready? Thanks for being here again today on Jimmy Rants. The keto diet mainly promises to support you in weight loss. Well, no, it doesn't. We mainly promise to put your body into a fat-burning mode, and it's a metabolic state where you're put into a better ability to control blood sugar, insulin, inflammation, and some other things in your health, which should improve your health, which by extension of that should help you lose weight. So it's not a promise to lose weight. If you ever went on the ketogenic diet with the sole purpose of just being weight loss, yeah, you missed it, because it's never been just about weight loss. Advocates claim the very low-carb, high-fat diet will help you burn fat more effectively and will improve overall health at the same time. True. Halle Berry, Kourtney Kardashian, Vanessa Hudgens, and LeBron James are just some of the famous names who have been on a keto diet and experienced incredible results. The celebrities claim that the eating plan helped them shed pounds and get their desired physique. However, for some people, weight loss is not one of the visible effects of the keto diet. Despite following the same rules, avoiding the same high-carb foods as everyone else, there are simple mistakes that could be slowing down progress and even making you have unintentional weight gain. Can anybody relate to this? Do you feel like you're ketoing perfectly and yet you're still seeing challenges in weight loss and, God forbid, gaining weight? Listen to these ideas. The number one reason why, according to this article, you might still be struggling with weight loss is you're eating too many keto treats and sweets. So keto approved brownies and other sweets can be the reason why your weight changes slowly or not at all. this food contains high amounts of calories. Well, I don't think it's the calories in these foods. I don't think it's the calories at all. And let me come back to that in a second. So eating 1 or 2 each day may delay your weight loss. Drew Manning, who's my bud, Fit to Fat to Fit, he wrote a quote for this article. I would recommend people limit these keto-friendly treats or desserts to only a few times a week. There isn't really a best or worst keto dessert. The problem is they are calorie dense and can trigger more cravings, which can lead to overconsuming. So I don't think overeating keto treats, the reason why they're bad is you eat more calories. I think it's a little deeper than that. I think sometimes for some people, when you have a keto treat, it excites something in your brain that makes you want more of that sweet taste. So when you want more sweet taste, it makes you eat more. In fact, I was just interviewing somebody, Gormy. Gormy Goes Keto. He's going to be on the Living La Vida Low Carbs show coming up in a few weeks. And he was telling me this, that over Valentine's Day, one of his favorite chocolate companies, Choc Zero, I believe it was, one of those chocolate companies, was having a Valentine's Day sale on white chocolate. And so he always loved white chocolate. He had gotten to almost 600 pounds at one point in his life, and he's now just over 200 pounds. So he has a phenomenal weight loss success story. But he said he wanted to try the white chocolate. Well, what he did was when he started eating it, he ate one, and then he ate another one, and then he ate another one, and he realized it turned on something in his brain that made this highly addictive. Totally keto, totally on plan, but look what it did in his brain. It made him want more and more and more. And we all can attest to that. Trust me, when I go to some of these keto conferences and I see all of these vendors out there offering all these treats and sweet treats and everything, how do you have one and not want them all? So that's the danger. And that is this top reason why keto may not be producing weight loss for you. Maybe you're eating too many of those kinds of things. So that's one thing. I think the idea of when you got sweet on the tongue, it excites your brain and it makes you want more of that. Something else about the treats is they all have sweeteners of some sort. And so in those sweeteners, you've got a wide variety of sweeteners. All sweeteners are not created equal. And in my book, The Keto Cure, wrote with Dr. Adam Nally, all about the keto diet and from Dr. Nally's clinical practice in Arizona, we have a chapter in there all about sweeteners. And in that chapter, we talk about specific ones that raise insulin, raise blood sugar, and they're not doing you any good. And so perhaps the reason you're not losing weight is you're stoking insulin. And as we talked about in the earlier Jimmy Rants, you stoke insulin, it's almost impossible to lose weight. Okay? So I don't think this is a calorie thing at all. I think it's sweetness on the tongue. I think it's the effect of the sweeteners in the foods themselves, which is why even today I have to eat very minimally sweet treats. Like most of the keto treats out there, I can't handle because it just blows my head off. But if they back off on the sweetener quite a bit, I wish they would have one that has a less palatable taste. I know why they do that. Have a lot in there because they're trying to reach the general market who's still eating sugar. But what about the rest of us who don't eat sugar anymore, aren't as needing that hit of the sweet taste? And there's a few companies doing that out there. So unfortunately, most of them want to blow your head off. All right, so if you joined us late, we're talking about this article that came out in the Medical Daily, and it's all about reasons why you're not losing weight despite eating keto. And they've got 6 reasons why. So the first one was too many keto sweets and treats. Well, the second one kind of piggybacks on what I was just talking about with those treats. You're eating too many fake sugars. Okay? Another common mistake by people on the keto diet is relying on artificially sweetened foods and drinks in order to limit their intake of carbs and get more fat. Well, it makes sense. If you're used to having a whole lot of sugar and and sugary types of ingredients like high fructose corn syrup and other things. Switching over to an artificial sweetener could be a temporary stopgap measure. When I made the switch from eating a crappy carbage diet over to the Atkins diet, I went from drinking 16 cans of Coca-Cola, all with high fructose corn syrup in them. That was my daily drink consumption, was 16 cans of Coca-Cola. I eliminated that when I went on the Atkins diet, and I went down to only 8 of diet soda. And so going from sugary soda to diet soda in that auspice was a perfect thing to do. Now, eventually I realized all those artificial sweeteners weren't doing me any good, so why not try to eliminate those? And I'll still have a diet soda or artificially sweetened drink from time to time, but you realize over time that they're not really doing you any good. It is important to know that some foods that are marked as low or no sugar still contribute to an increase in your blood glucose levels, according to a dietitian named Melanie Bomer. She's right. When I see that this is a crafty way that they try to hook you in grocery stores. So on the packaging, the front of the packaging, let's just take ice cream for example. They'll say, no sugar added. So in the mind of the regular consumer, oh wow, no sugar added. Oh, so there's no sugar in here. That's not always the case, by the way. There's no sugar added. There's still natural sugars that could be in it. There's other forms of sugars that could be in it, but there's no sugar that's been added. It's a marketing game. Just don't fall for that one. She recommends that people replace all these artificially sweetened products with whole, unprocessed foods. Such healthier alternatives can help avoid overeating and provide more nutrients while on the keto diet. I totally agree with that. But she's a dietitian and she's not living in the real world of someone who's heavily sweet addicted, carb addicted. And again, I'm talking about someone at the beginning of their journey. If they read, well, we don't need to have any of these artificially sweetened ones. Let's just put people, fresh fruits and vegetables is perfectly fine. Well, what if you're not there yet? So I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think some of these can be an effective way on a temporary basis to deal with a craving or every once in a while basis. The last thing we want to do is settle for a crappy, artificially sweetened type of thing, and you feel like it's okay to eat it, but it's not okay to eat the real thing. Look, if you want a cookie, I'm of the mindset that you try to make it as healthy as you can, but at the end of the day, don't compromise what a cookie is. A cookie is an indulgence. Whether it's a keto cookie, whether it's a sugary cookie, a cookie's a cookie's a cookie. And if you want that cookie, how about you have the real thing? How about you get the most luscious one that you can? I think sometimes we settle, and then in our minds, we justify that settling of this keto cookie or keto version of a brownie or whatever. Sometimes you just settle in on that. Well, it's keto. So you justify it and it makes you want to do more. But if you remind yourself it's an indulgence, remind yourself it's a treat that you don't do every day, under that auspice, why don't you get the real thing and get something that really, really tastes good? Now, neither one is ideal, but if we're going to indulge, that's the way to do it. Not to pretend like because it's got keto on it, that it's a free-for-all. All right. Too many keto sweets, too much fake sugars. We're talking about why you may not be losing weight on a keto diet. And this is an article in Medical Daily. The third one, hidden effects in dairy products. Listen to this one, you guys. Some dairy products, particularly flavored yogurt and 2% milk, contain high amounts of carbs. See, this is what they don't tell you about low-fat milk. So 2% milk, skim milk, they both got a ton of sugar. Ton of sugar. And here's the way you know this. The higher the fat, the lower the sugar. The lower the fat, the higher the sugar. And of course, in something like milk, you got lactose. But even there's so many flavored milks now. And people forget when they flavor it, they have to sweeten it for that flavor to take. And so if they're sweetening on top of the natural lactose that's in milk, and then it's low fat, it's a triple whammy. Eating such products will probably stop ketosis. That's the metabolic state that gives most of the health benefits of the keto diet. So, dairy. And what they didn't mention here too is some people have an aversion to dairy. Some people get bloated. Some people have gastric distress. Some people get gas. Some people just don't handle dairy well. If you're going to choose dairy and you have the ability to get it, try to get raw dairy. Even organic dairy isn't as good as raw dairy. So try to get raw if you can. Now it's very, very hard. Raw cheese and milk and cream and those kinds of things. But do the best you can. But stay away from the higher sugar ones and opt for the higher fat ones. Number 4, you're eating too many calories. Okay? Keto is a low carb, high fat diet, requires a calorie deficit to see results. Okay. I always hate that phraseology. You've got to create a calorie deficit. I don't think calories are insignificant, but I do think calories are overblown. Okay? So when you're eating a low carb diet that's high in fat, you should be satiated, and you're using mostly real whole foods, you should be satiated enough to go many, many, many hours between eating. So I ate 2 ribeye steaks this morning. That's all I've literally eaten today, all day long. 8:30 in the morning was when I had that. And I'm doing okay still. Totally okay. Was it a lot of calories in those 2 ribeyes? Yeah, 2 ribeye steaks, a lot of calories. But look at what those calories did. Totally sated, totally satisfied, got all of the energy I need, got all the nutrients I need, essential fatty acids, essential amino acids, and I'm still satisfied now. Have no desire to have any more food right this second. Do we devalue that? Do we just dismiss that as, oh, well, that's nice for you? No, I don't think it's about calorie deficit. Let your body tell you when the calories are enough, and let your body tell you when it's time to eat again. Some people consume more calories when they're trying to cut carbs and increasing their fat. Well, here's the problem. Traditional teaching on nutrition is, well, if you want to cut your calories, the best way to do it is to grab the big boy when it comes to caloric density, and that's dietary fat. There's 9 calories per gram of dietary fat, whereas there's only 4 when it comes to protein and carbohydrate. So they tell you cut your fat. And if you start cutting your fat, your calories will go down quite a bit. Think about those of you that eat a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet. Think about all the fat that you do include in your diet. Imagine if you cut that fat in half. What would happen to you? How would you respond? Would you be better off if you cut it in half? I don't think so. Most people would probably be hungry. Most people would have to eat more often. It might stoke cravings again. So I think they're devaluing what certain calories are doing. And all calories aren't created equal. Eating too many calories, I don't think this is a calorie issue. I think it's a what compromises those calories issue. So if you're eating mostly protein and fat and very minimal carbohydrate, and you happen to hit 2,500 calories because that's what your body needed for whatever your purpose is, and your body type, like I'm 6'3" and I'm going to the gym a lot. I need quite a bit of calories. I need those calories coming from protein and fat. Okay? But I'm not eating 2,500 calories, for example, of Coca-Cola, Doritos, junk food galore, fast food galore. I'm eating nutrient-dense foods. And so I don't like the calorie. This is the first one I don't agree with. High calories as a generic statement of we're consuming way too many calories when you eat low carb, high fat, I don't think is the issue. I think when we're first starting on keto, your body's kind of getting used to what is the caloric intake that's going to make me feel satisfied. So I think early on, people, they undereat when they first start because they're so afraid, I can't overeat. And so you have these kind of statements, eating too many calories. People still think it's a calorie thing. It's never been about your calories. It's been about controlling your hormones. And what's the way to control your hormones the best? making sure you're not stoking insulin. What's the best way to not stoke insulin? Keep your carbs low, moderate your protein, eat more fat. See how that works? Meeting a dietitian before you try keto, please don't do that. Most dietitians are not in the interest of telling you the truth about keto. But if you do meet one, they can help you determine the right amount of calories you should be consuming each day. See, here's the problem. You go see a dietitian, and okay, maybe they support your ketogenic diet, but they're like, okay, you're 6'3", yeah, okay. We're gonna put you on 1,400 calories, Jimmy. Do you guys know how I would feel only eating 1,400 calories? Yeah, like crap. There's no way. And yet, that's what they want you to do. Cut your calories. A ketogenic diet is designed to use fat for fuel, but if you're consuming too many calories for your needs, it is still possible that you'll be storing fat just as you would with any dietary pattern, says Ginger Holton, the spokesperson for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Well, Miss Holton, with all due respect, if you're listening to your body's satiety signals and you're allowing them to take hold, I get it. Some people blow by satiety. I get it. Some people enjoy the food they eat. But if you're listening to your body and you're eating it the proper human diet, as Dr. Ken Berry likes to say, if you're doing that, then your body has a natural mechanism for controlling calories exactly to what you need. And if you're eating mostly animal-based foods with minimal carbohydrates and having the natural fats and proteins that are found in that, you don't overconsume calories. So let's stop pretending like we need to make this a math game. This is where people get frustrated and they fail on anything they do. There's so many rules, and I think adding the calorie counting rule to keto is unnecessary. Stay away from the treats, stay away from the things that might stoke hunger and stoke you to eat more. Eat enough calories. That's a bigger issue for me that I see with people that go keto. You got people that are eating under 1,000 calories on keto because they're so afraid they're going to lose too much weight. Or not enough weight, excuse me. If they overeat calories, they think they're going to gain too much weight. So they undereat to prevent that. And what they don't realize is their basal metabolic rate keeps going lower and lower and lower and lower to the point that it is indeed possible, scientists have shown this, that you can lower your basal metabolic rate to well below 1,000 and you still gain weight despite eating, say, 800 calories. So lowering calories is not the answer. Now, you're not sitting there and eating gobs and gobs and gobs of food, making yourself sick till you throw up. Nobody is encouraging that. But we're always saying eat to satiety. So if you're doing that, there's no need to count calories. Okay. Next one, number 5. A medical condition is a reason why you're not losing weight despite doing keto. In some cases, people may have an undiagnosed condition that blocks the weight loss on keto. These health problems might include a food allergy or a food intolerance that can trigger inflammation. So this is why some people are sensitive to dairy. Some people have to stay away from nightshades. I know some people that even have, and God bless them, even have an aversion to eating fatty meats. And so they have to get creative with what they eat. They'll have chicken with like ghee or chicken with butter or some other kind of form of fat that's not as harmful to their digestive system, or pork or some other kind of one. We all have these things going on. So if you tried keto and you're, oh my gosh, I can't handle it, and you might have an allergy. And so there's all kind of food allergies, food intolerances. There's tests that you can have run. Look for those, because if you're struggling and you don't know you have one of these things, it could be very helpful to know it. Another condition under these medical conditions that could be causing problems in your weight loss is a big one. It's hypothyroidism. So you have a low thyroid function. Just having a low number doesn't mean that you have a low function, but most people who do have a low number do have a low function. Hashimoto's is the autoimmune version of it, but there are non-Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, and it will be linked to weight gain, fatigue, and muscle ache. So getting that controlled and dealt with is probably paramount for you before you go keto or while you're doing keto. All right. Something else they didn't say as a medical condition that is challenging is type 2 diabetes. So if you're dealing with anything that's type 2 diabetes related, you already have a messed up ability for the body to respond well to insulin. So if you already have that, that's going to be tough on your body to lose weight. So keep that in mind, another medical condition. There are other ones out there, but we'll save that for now with those three. And the last reason of the 6 reasons why you may not be losing weight on the keto diet, according to this story, your diet is not putting you in ketosis. You know, people say, I'm eating keto, and I'll write to them back, I'll go, what's your ketone levels? Oh no. Well, how do you know you're eating for ketosis? Well, I'm eating low carb. Well, what's that mean? Well, I'm keeping my net carbs to 50 grams or less. Oh, so you're counting net carbs. Did you know you should be counting total carbs? What? And so that 50 grams of net carbs is actually 75 to 80 grams total carbs. You're not going to be in ketosis necessarily. So you open people's eyes. So if your diet is not putting you in ketosis, how are you supposed to get the benefits of the ketogenic diet if you're not in ketosis? See what I'm saying? Achieving ketosis is important for people on keto. However, your body may not be fully in ketosis because you miscalculated your carb intake. This is the other thing. There are a lot of hidden carbs in foods. If you're counting net carbs and it only has 4 net effective carbs, and you look at the label and it says 27 total carbohydrates, you better damn well be putting 27 down as your total number of carbs you consumed, because 4 is a line number. And this fools a lot of people. I know I've gotten pushback from people. Oh, well, we should count net carbs because those fiber carbs, they don't count. They do count. And if you're not believing me, I encourage you, start counting total carbs and keep them at 20 and watch what happens. There are different ways to confirm ketosis. Test strips for urine, blood tests to see if your body's in a metabolic state. There's also breath tests as well. I've been testing out lately the Keto, K-E-Y-T-O. I like the interface of the Keto device for breath ketones. As far as blood ketones, I like the Keto Coach X. They're a really good company that's doing a good job. And urine ketones, don't bother. They're just a waste of money. So what did they miss in this article about not losing weight despite doing keto? They didn't mention anything about activity. Like, are you doing anything at the gym? Because one of the best ways to raise your ketones and help boost your metabolism and put you in fat burning mode so that your body will mobilize stored body fat is to move your body. And of course, people hear that and they think, oh, I got to go do a cardio class. Got to do hot yoga. I got to do this. Nope. Lift heavy things. If you lift weights, that's a great thing. Guys, I've been doing that hot and heavy now for a little while, and I gotta tell you, you get stronger, you feel better, mentally it helps you, and then eventually it's gonna lead to weight loss. So let's not pretend like exercise doesn't matter, and I'm surprised they didn't put that in there at all. Another thing they didn't mention that I thought was an important reason why you're not losing weight despite eating keto: stress. Like, we all deal with stress in our lives. We all have stressful moments. We have things that we're dealing with from our past, kind of like I've been talking about the childhood trauma stuff lately. If you've got unresolved stress and you're not adequately dealing with it, don't be surprised if you're not losing weight. And so I think we become so fooled into thinking that weight loss is only about what you put in your mouth. And trust me, what you put in your mouth is important, but it's so much more than that. Like, are you sleeping well? Because if you're not, they've done studies that show when you don't get a good night's sleep, you're actually insulin resistant the next day, to the point of equivalent with what a type 2 diabetic deals with. I mean, that's a metabolic effect of something that has nothing to do with your diet, everything to do with a lifestyle. So stress management, making sure you're getting movement, making sure that you're not overburdening your thoughts with things that you always have to think of, and getting your sleep in order, getting plenty of sunshine. You're like, well, what's that have to do with weight loss? If you put your body in a more relaxed state and a more parasympathetic state, if you're not testing heart rate variability, HRV, I wear a ring that shows it to me from at night. It'll show you whether you're in a more stressed state or whether you're in a more chilled state. They do have these chest straps that you can use as well. So many tools for tracking where you are. And see, here's another one about not losing weight despite doing keto. How do you feel? Do you feel run down? Do you feel like you're lacking energy? Is it something just not right? See, sometimes we forget about these subjective measures when it comes to things like that we just ignore. Oh, it's just, I always have that. No, it's not normal. If you don't feel good all the time, something's wrong. Okay? The last thing I want to say about not losing weight despite eating keto, why are we focusing just on weight? Yes, weight is a marker of health. Yes, weight is an important one that doctors want to keep track of. But is it the totality of your health? And is it the totality of whether or not you're successful on a ketogenic diet? No, it's not. Are we seeing improvements in our blood markers? Is your insulin level coming down? Is your blood sugar coming down? Is your A1C coming down? Are your inflammation markers like HSCRP and homocysteine coming down? Are you seeing a drop in your triglycerides? Are your HDL cholesterol numbers coming up? What's going on in your numbers? Because these, at the end of the day, are the reason why you eat keto. Is your brain working sharply? You talk to most people out on the street and tell them what I've done today. I had 2 ribeyes at 8:30 in the morning. Oh my God, all that red meat. And then add to it, oh, and I haven't eaten since 8:30 this morning. It's now just past 5:30 Eastern time. It's been like 9 hours since I ate. Oh my God, you're starving yourself. Do I look like I'm in pain? Do I look like I'm deprived? Do I look like I'm lacking in anything? Mental acuity, energy? No. I'm vibrant because I'm feeding my body properly. Do I still have weight on the body? You bet I do. Am I working through those things that we've talked about here and some of the stress and the dealing with the childhood trauma? Yes, I am. And I know over time that weight will come down. Keep in mind too, I was 410 at one point in my life. We got to remember where people came from. Gormy and I had this great discussion in that interview that we did together that I can't wait to share with you. But we had a great discussion about this, that no matter where you are currently, people are always going to judge you without any respect to where you came from. And so if we forget where people come from and we just say, well, you're eating keto and you're still fat. Yeah, I'm fat, but look at what I was before I went keto. Look at what I weigh now versus what I weighed then. You've got to remember where you are in your own journey. And there's always going to be people that will judge you, so I'm not worried about that. I've had it for years. But what you do is you remind yourself how far you've come. Have I ever been anywhere close to 410 pounds again since I hit that in 2004? Nope, not even close. Do I still have weight on the body? Yes, but the journey has taken me to here, and it's a continued journey. And we have to be kind with ourselves and stop putting so much stock on, oh, well, I have to reach this arbitrary weight loss goal, or I have, and by extension of that, keto has failed. What utter nonsense. We need to remember the main thing is health, longevity. What's your purpose here? What are you doing this for? And when you remember those things and when you put the focus on the things that matter, weight loss just doesn't matter anymore. And don't be surprised that when you give up on making this a weight loss journey and you stop worrying about your weight, that weight might start pouring off your body. Seems so radical, doesn't it? Not focusing on weight loss will help you lose weight. But it works. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Come on in. Welcome in. Welcome in. We'll come to Facebook if we have time at the end of the show. But right now, we're going to go to our Instagrammers since this is an Instagram show. Hello, hello, you guys. Thanks for being here. Beth says, just chatting with Ilza about not being able to shake the 1.5 inches on my waist, all because I'm binging. Yeah, it's a constant struggle. And people who have never dealt with weight issues, they don't know the struggle of expectations when it comes to weight loss. Society expects you, when you go on a ketogenic diet, to have this remarkable weight loss success story. And if you don't, you start to go, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? And so you start kind of playing these mind games of, maybe I'm not doing it enough. Maybe I am eating too many calories. Maybe I should work out an hour more at the gym. Maybe I should be doing this over here. Oh, maybe I should be doing that over there. When all along, you were doing the very things you needed to be doing. You just weren't patient with it. And you get frustrated. And when you get frustrated, it puts you in a susceptible state of mind that says, well, F it, I'm going to do whatever I want, and you binge. Anybody been there? Guys, we've all been there, and it's why I try to hammer early and often this stop worrying about your weight thing. Doesn't mean the weight's not important, but it means it plays more havoc, wreaks more havoc on your mindset and your emotional state than we ever want to realize. And the psychology of this is stop thinking about it, and then everything you ever want to have happen in that area will actually happen. Nidal says, keto desserts are bad news. Bears for me. I agree about having the more sweet taste. Yeah, it does make you want more sweet. It does. What's up, Sam Griffin? GriffSam88 says, oh man, those white chocolates are so good. Yeah, Chalk Zero apparently has made a white chocolate, and white chocolate is hard to come by if you're keto because you don't really find it anywhere, but Chalk Zero made one, and yes, I've heard they're quite addictive. So yeah, I don't even mess with those kind of things anymore because I know my brain will go woohoo, and I'll be just like Gormy was and won't be able to stop. By the way, Gormy, after he ate 3 or 4 of them in a row and realized what was going on, he got rid of them. So he bought them on this Valentine's Day special, had a huge box of it, and he got rid of them because he knew he couldn't control himself. Sherry says, I cannot keep the keto treats in my home. If I have one, I need to eat them all. Danger zone. Yeah. And see, I think those of us that know that about ourselves, we probably should keep those things out of our house. Like, seriously. Like, being a keto influencer, I have companies send me stuff all the time. And if I taste it and it blows my head off, I just immediately throw it away, give it away, throw it to my chicken, something. I just don't keep it around because I know myself enough to know that's not going to end well. Keto Core 89 says, I had to deal with the emotional issues to stop the need for replacement foods like keto sweets. Yeah. Emotions make us do weird things in our lives. We work harder. We get addicted to alcohol, drugs, in your case, food, keto sweets. But once you recognize you have that compulsion and then you stop yourself, you're healing. So celebrate that and good job. Kat says, strict keto, no treats, no keto versions of anything. Still put some weight on every winter, falls right off in the spring, more indoor, less active. Cold body wants to have that cushion. Yeah, probably keeps you warm, doesn't it, Kat? Anita says, my blood glucose increases by 25 points if I use a keto sweetener. My ketones will go down as glucose goes up. I have to stay away from the treats. And you notice this, guys? People are aware of what their trigger is. They're aware of how their bodies are working, and that's where you need to get. If you're not already aware of how you feel, how you respond, you're not testing your blood glucose after you eat a keto treat, You're not looking at what's going on in your body, and you're just eating them because it's keto, it's legal. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're not doing yourself a service. Act like you care about yourself and actually test when you're eating these things so you're not just eating them blindly. Bright Blur says, when I went carnivore back in October, I cut out all the sweet stuff and it really helped nuke the cravings. It does. I've been eating keto carnivore starting about 1.5 years ago, and pretty much hardcore steaks, red meat carnivore for a few months. And I agree with you. It's like you don't really have the need for it. If I want a sweet treat, okay, I'll have one and I'm done with it. I move on and go back to eating the red meat exclusively. The keto artists, there are a lot of treats out there that say keto that cause major jumps in blood glucose and keep it elevated for hours. Yeah, I think one of the things that I noticed during my sabbatical, as I had free time to just walk around stores, I went to Walmart. And I remember walking into Walmart, and I had not been in a Walmart for a little while. I know it's sacrilege in America not to go to Walmart every week, but I went in and I could not believe all of the products that had a big old fat label that said KETO on it. And as I was looking at some of these products, just curious, almost all of them were crap, like junk, like utter nonsense. Why is this labeled as keto? Like a lot of them even included sugar and grains, and they still call it keto. I was amazed. But keto's out there. I guess they're trying to cash in on the trend. Calorie deficit is so misleading, says Keto Purple Owl. It really is, because I think telling people they need to be in a calorie deficit automatically in their minds makes them want to lower and lower and lower. And that's not always the answer. It's just not. Kat says artificial sweeteners can be a necessary step in between high sugar to no sugar and no sweet. Sweet taste is a hard addiction to overcome, but mind over matter. I'm a big fan if you're making a transition over from a crappy carbage diet over to a keto type of diet where you're not eating sweet sugar for sure. It's probably a good way to transition. But see, then you need help, and this is why keto coaches can help with this, and keto nutritionists, keto doctor, to help you circumnavigate when you've made that switch in your head. Because I remember for me, it took a few months. Like I went from 1,500 grams of carbs in a day over to just suddenly 20. That was a huge shock to my system. So I needed those sweet treats, diet soda and things like that to get me over. And it probably took 6 months for me before I really in my head went, okay, now I feel that yieldness when I sense something sweet in my mouth. It made me kind of open up my eyes for the first time of, oh wow, I don't need that hit, so to speak, of that sweetness. And so it takes time after that. Just be patient with yourself. Keto Core 89, I can fast for days and be fine. If I try to cut my fat when I'm eating mostly carnivore, I get moody, hungry, tempted to eat carbs. It's not good for sustainability. Fat and protein are totally needed. Yes. Cariana says, I picked up those low-carb tortillas, and that was a mistake. So yeah, the Quest company, which Quest bars for some reason have gotten this kind of health halo in the low-carb and keto community. Quest products, for the most part, are not keto. They're not. Like, look at the label. They're not keto. Lower in carbs than their crappy garbage counterparts, you bet. But they have these tortilla chips, and they're very good. They actually taste kind of like Doritos. And so the problem is they're addictive. And the problem is they have a lot of carbs that you may not be banking on. And I'll tell you, Quest has never pretended to be a keto company. They did have very temporarily a keto line of products called Quest Keto, and they were about to launch a whole bunch of new ones. Then a new company or somebody bought out the company from the original owners, and the new owners went, we don't believe in this keto crap. So they stopped making the Quest Keto stuff. So now all their stuff is marketed, lower sugar, better for you, blah, blah, blah. But it's not keto. So if you're eating those things thinking you're eating keto, you're really not. Eat till you're comfortably stuffed, says Dr. Berry. I count nothing, says Keto Purple Owl. I agree with Dr. Berry. Keto simple, maintaining metabolic flexibility is also something to take into consideration. But yes, carbs should be as low as possible, as often as possible. Yep. To fix MJ, lost all my weight, never counted calories once, never hungry. That's good. I love what you're adding to this community. Thanks for all you put out there despite all the naysayers. Thank you, Keto Court. I had an epiphany about the naysayers during my sabbatical. I just don't care anymore. I don't. Since I've been back, I've gotten about a dozen emails from people. And imagine the most vile thing you could ever say to another human being. And all of it was said. To which I said, I don't give a shit. I don't. People are going to say what they're going to say. And I've resigned myself to they're going to be that way. No matter what I do, no matter what I look like, no matter what. So if they're going to be that way no matter what, why should I bother them? Bother with them? No skin off my back. If I do eat sugar, I keep it under 5 grams of sugar. Hard to walk away. Yeah, it really is. Keto Purple Owl, when I want sweets, I find salt takes away the craving. It really does. Guys, if you get a sweet taste in your mouth, or a sweet craving in your mouth, put salt in your mouth, put it underneath your tongue and just hold it there. You'll be surprised how well it takes away that craving. I really think, or it's really salt I needed, not sweet. Yeah, just like sometimes we think we're hungry and what we are is actually thirsty. And so drink water and usually that hunger goes away. Holly says, I just love my meat. If I need a snack, it's bacon. Exactly. Thank you for all you do, says Keto Purple Owl. Thank you. To fix MJ Quest, it's their loss. I threw up a Quest protein bar. People really eat that? Yes, they really do. I've heard many people in the keto world say, oh, Quest bars are the awesome. And okay, I guess you could handle a lot of carbs. One of those Quest bars is like 28 grams of carbohydrate if you're counting total carbs. And so you're getting more than you bargained for. All right, let's come over to my Facebook page. Just a reminder, I can't see your comments here. I see a bunch of you guys are on here right now. Thank you for being here. Please write comments down there. And I will see them when we're done. But for some reason, I can't see them in real time. But I do see them here. So let's see what you guys have. You got any questions or comments about what I shared? Nicole said, I'm never satisfied by sweets. I just want more and more. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Maria says, I don't count calories, only total carbs. I keep it between 15 to 20 a day. Life is good. My A1C 5.9 placed me pre-diabetic, and now I take metformin for a few months. Well, hang in there. Over time, you can bring those under control. Christy says, Chalk Zero has corn fiber in it, causes blood sugar rise in some people. See, there it is, Christy. Thank you for that, by the way. Even the so-called keto things, the so-called legal things that we think are okay, aren't okay. And, these companies will say, well, corn fiber is very minimal in the... And it's a highly individualized response. So let's not pretend it has no effect when it probably does. Tough struggle in the grocery store today. 6 custard-filled day-old donuts on sale for $1.99. The ribeye in my hand was $12.98 or $12.99. I stared at the donuts for a long time, but I finally went with the steak. Oh, it was so hard. The struggle is real. That's the problem. All the stuff that you really don't need to have is so freaking dirt cheap. So people justify that. Well, I can't afford that $12.99 a pound ribeye steak, so let me get the donuts. The day-old donuts are only $1.98. So we play that game in our head. Well, it's cheaper, but you don't realize the satiety and the nutrition you'll get from the steak is far superior to whatever momentary pleasure on the lips that you feel like those donuts are going to give you. I've been keto carnivore for 2 years. Lately, I've been binging. Patricia, there's no shame in that. Thank you for sharing that. There's a lot of people that do binge, and I think it's because they're using something in their diet or something in their life is stoking that. Most of the time, it has to be stress of some sort that's unresolved. So if you're still dealing with that binge eating propensity, just know you may need to see a binge eating counselor to help with that, but it could be that you're doing something or have something going on in your lifestyle that's stoking that desire. Christy says, I've been so strict with keto for over 7 years, and I've always struggled big time getting rid of dairy. Now carnivore for almost 5 months has been my key. I'm now 61 pounds down and feel amazing. See, constantly tweak, constantly looking, congratulations by the way, Christy, constantly looking for what will work for you. One thing that ticks me off more than anything about the keto community is my version of keto is the best, and if you don't do it my way, you're not doing it right. Well, screw you. Screw you. You do your version of keto, I'll do my version of keto. And how about we celebrate and encourage each other, right? All right, so hopefully this gave you some clues. If you're one of those people who struggles with weight loss despite eating keto, you now have a few more clues as to why you might be struggling. But like I said earlier, why are we putting all the focus just on weight loss? Why does weight loss have to be the ultimate goal in all of this? Lisa says nuts will trigger me as a food. They do a lot of people. Nuts and cheese can be a bugaboo for a lot of people when they eat keto, and they don't even realize they're over consuming those things because it's easy to eat those fast. So thank you for that. Why are we focusing on weight loss as if it's the great panacea of all things related to our health? It's not. Let's see how we feel. Let's constantly reassess why we're eating the way we eat, what our purpose and goal is in eating, and then embrace that. Let go of the weight loss desires. And then weight loss can happen. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. As always, go to jimmyrants.com. You can see all the past episodes there. Got a lot of cool stuff for you on jimmyrants.com. You can also head on over to YouTube, type in a keyword search, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. And yeah, that was it, man. We love doing this show. Hope you enjoy this. Like, I try to make it educational, but fun and entertaining. And so thank you guys for being here. I'm going to sign off on Instagram Live. Guys, until next time, we'll see you then.